Hey, in honor of Pride Month, I actually on Tuesday wrote down my story and I have been prompted to share it. So I hope my story helps someone out there who is still either figuring out who they are or are on their way to wanting to come back home to themselves. I have 14 chapters written. It is, I say chapters very vaguely, it is the smallest kind of chapters I've ever written before. It's like a page, if that, and a half of for each chapter. And I hope whoever watches this, it helps you. I hope that you can learn from me in some way, or I hope it inspires you to just live, to be you, to come back home to you because you deserve it. It's called When I Finally Said It Out Loud. Let's get into it. Dear reader, or maybe dear me, I don't know if I'm writing this for anyone else to read or just to finally get the words out of my chest and onto page. For most of my life, I didn't say it out loud. Not to others, and not even to myself. I whispered in my head. I circled it in thoughts. I buried it beneath every version of myself that looked like she had it all together. There comes to a point where silence feels heavier than truth. And these pages, this journal, is my way of telling the truth. This is not a story filled with dramatic coming out moments or perfect labels. It's messy, it's slow, it's full of second guesses and late night clarity. It's also full of warmth, first glances that made my heart race, and the ache of knowing I was different before I had the words to name it. These 14 chapters are pieces of my journey, reflections, memories, and emotions I've carried for years. Some of it is painful, some of it is joyful, all of it is mine. So if you're reading this, whether you're figuring yourself out or just curious, I hope these words make you feel a little less alone. And if this is just for me, I'm proud of you for finally saying it out loud. Chapter 1, When I was 9. I don't think other girls feel this way. I was 9 years old when I first noticed something that didn't quite fit with what everyone else seemed to feel. It was during math class. I remember sitting near a girl with wild curly hair, the kind that bounced when she moved and shimmered in the sunlight from the windows. She wore a bangle bracelet stacked high on her wrist, and every time she raised her hand, I'd watch her. Not just because she was smart, but because there was something about her that made my chest tighten in a way I couldn't explain. One day I dropped my pencil, and she picked it up before I could reach for it. When she passed it to me, her fingers brushed mine. Not long, not dramatic, just a second too long to be nothing. And I felt it. A spark. Something small but undeniable that lit up my whole body. I remember sitting back in my chair, my cheeks hot, confused. I looked around, wondering if anyone else saw what just happened or felt anything like I just did. But everything looked the same, just a girl handing a pencil back to another girl. It was nothing, and it was everything. That moment stuck with me, not because it was romantic or big, but because it was the first time I realized that I felt something I didn't see the other girls talking about. They liked boys. They blushed when the boys chased them on the playground. But me? I was still watching the girl with the bangle bracelets, wondering if she noticed the way I stared. I told myself it was just admiration, that I wanted to be like her. But deep down, I knew it wasn't that. It was the first time I thought, I don't think other girls feel this way. And I didn't say it out loud. I just tucked it away in a quiet part of my heart where no one could see it, not even me. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I replayed it over and over. The pencil, the look in her eyes, the warmth that lingered in my hand. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew it meant something. The next day at recess, the girls were whispering about which boy they thought was cutest. They giggled and blushed when the boys kicked the ball near to them. I laughed too, but it felt like I was acting in a play where I didn't know the lines. I kept looking for her instead, hoping our hands would brush again. Looking back, I think that was the first time I felt like a stranger in my own life. Chapter 2, Playing the Part. If I act like the others, maybe I'll become like them. After that moment in class, I became very good at pretending. I didn't know what I was pretending to be, just that it was something normal, something safe, something that didn't involve wondering why my heart beat faster when a girl smiled at me. By 10, I knew how to laugh when the other girls gushed about boys on TV. I knew how to nod along when they passed notes with boys' names doodled in hearts. I picked random boys to say I liked. Usually ones that were quiet, safe, or barely in the room, just enough to keep suspicion off me. Sometimes I practice saying he's cute in the mirror at home, trying to get my face to match the words, trying to sound like I meant it, trying to feel something when I said it. But the truth was, my stomach never flipped for boys. Not once. It felt like I was acting in a play that never ended. I don't remember the exact day I learned the word gay. I just remember the first time I heard it. It wasn't said gently. It was said like a joke, like something to roll your eyes at, like a warning, a word you didn't want attached to you. And I remember freezing. Not because I knew I was gay, not yet, but because something in me recognized the way people looked when they said it, like they were afraid of what it meant. And I didn't want anyone to look at me like that. I remember when my friend came to school one day, crying because some kids had bullied her for being gay. They tried to out her before she was ready, whispering, laughing, making her feel like she didn't belong. Watching her tears, I felt my stomach twist with fear and helplessness. I realized that being different wasn't just confusing, it could be dangerous. After that, I worked even harder at hiding. I kept doing all the right things, crushed on the right boys, wore the right clothes, said the right words. I didn't know it then, but I was laying the first bricks in a closet I'd lived inside for years. And still, even with all the pretending, I would catch glimpses of something that felt like truth. Like when a girl would reach out and I wanted to hold her hand, but was too scared to take it, too scared to get that close because I knew, even if I didn't fully understand it, that holding her hand would feel different than just friendship, that it would feel warmer, more electric, more real than anything I was supposed to feel. So I stayed just out of reach, afraid that if I crossed that line, everything would change, and not everyone would be okay with it. It scared me, but it also made me feel alive. Looking back, I don't think I was trying to lie. I think I was trying to survive, trying to keep the softest parts of me from being crushed before I even understood what they were, trying to delay the moment someone would call me the name I wasn't ready to claim. And maybe part of me thought, if I acted like the others long enough, maybe I'd become like them. I hope you enjoyed that so far. I will have to make a part 2 for the next chapters. I hope you stick around.